Hi, this is Diana with a Bright Knowledge Instant. Bright Knowledge Instants give you one thing you can do today to move your creativity ahead. And today we're going to talk about the learning path, how we actually learn, what our path looks like. Oftentimes we're taught that it's a linear path, that you hit certain benchmarks in a row. And we know now that that's not quite how we learn. In fact, it's more of a spiral path. And today I'd like to share with you something that I learned from my friend Dusty. He described spiral learning in such a way that I'd never seen before, and one that entirely resonated with my experience and what I've seen as a teacher. So we're going to do it with a visual aid behind me, and I think you're going to find this description of spiral learning much more empowering, much more energizing, and much more realistic. So this is something you'll be able to apply today to your whole creative process. So here we go. Okay, so in the past, we thought of learning as a very linear process. You would start here with whatever it was you wanted to learn. Let's use rhythm as an example. And here was your end goal where you're finishing. And here's your learning process. You hit these various benchmarks, and it all lines up very evenly. So you're thinking about hitting here, understanding pulse, for example, the most basic thing in rhythm. Then you're moving on here, you're understanding different time signatures perhaps. Then you're getting a little bit deeper here. You're doing compound time here, 2 against 3, all this kind of stuff. You're progressing along a logical path. Now, we know that learning generally doesn't look this neat and tidy. And so we go towards what we call spiral learning, which looks more like that. You learn about something, and then you dip down a little bit, and then you come up to the next level of it, and then you dip down, you come up to the next level. You're constantly reviewing and mastering on a deeper level. So here's an example of going up, hitting your benchmark, you come back, you review, and then you hit the next level of your benchmark. You come back, you review, next level, review. This is beautiful and a huge improvement on the linear process, but it doesn't actually look like that when we're being creative and when we're learning in general. Instead, what our path looks like is we'll start along, we'll hit this benchmark, and then boom, we'll get some momentum. And we hit this benchmark way quicker. And then we're really on fire. We come up here, we hit this. We've accelerated so fast on this benchmark, and then boom, suddenly we hit a trough. And it feels like, oh, what happened? What that really is you're gaining momentum to come back here and maybe hit all of these at an even higher level. And then maybe you're going to hit the next high and then go down. And there's going to be various little challenges along the way as we go down. But again, it's a running jump, and we may go straight to this benchmark again and get even higher. So as we go through this whole process, we're getting all sorts of insights, and we're able to see our creativity on a totally different level than either the linear or the straight spiral. So as you're working today and as you're being creative, keep in mind this very organic looking process. I find that this much more reflects the creative process than either the linear or the straight spiral. It's still got a lot of beautiful spirals going on within it, but it's a more complex structure. And it's a lot more like nature, I feel, and it's a lot more liberating for us. As you go down into a trough, don't worry. It's just you're getting a running jump to hit your new benchmarks. And as you go towards the top of your acceleration, try not to get too attached to that, because as we accelerate, we can't stay in acceleration mode forever. We know there's going to be this natural shape of recombobulation, shall we say. And then as you go up again, there's all these connections being made. Look at these here, connection, 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 connection. This is what creativity really is. So in your process today, give yourself a break. Know that this is how we really learn, and enjoy the organic process of it all, knowing that you don't have to work in a linear fashion. And even with a spiral, it's not a strict spiral. It's this kind of a spiral, which I think is very pretty. Enjoy. Bye.